Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2020, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. Our hope is that these candidate interviews and profiles will help you, the voter, understand your choices when it comes to casting your ballot in the 2020 elections. While we can all agree that an informed candidate is important, we believe informed voters make all the difference. So we ask you to arm yourself with the information necessary to make an educated choice and to make casting your vote a priority, regardless of how you do it this year, mail-in or in person. Please visit shakopee.org to find out all of the information you'll need to know about the upcoming election, including polling places and times, and a link to the Secretary of State website for mail-in voting options. Hi, and welcome to Meet the Candidates 2020, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. My name is Angie Whitcomb, and I am joined today by school board member and candidate for re-election, Tim Brophy. Tim, thanks so much for making time to come and talk to our viewers today. We appreciate it.
Well, and thanks for having me. Great. Yeah, I said I'm Tim Brophy. I am running again for school board this November. My wife, Jennifer, and I have been members of the community since May of 2000. It's a little over 20 years. My wife joined the school district teaching 7th grade life science at now East Middle School. I've also been involved in some of the local community events, including coaching Team Orange on our Shakopee Girls Softball Association. I did have the privilege of working with our Community Facilities Task Force that was assembled last year, having to do with the use of facilities in the district, and ultimately led to a recommendation presented to the board to move our early childhood school programming to the former Pearson Elementary building. So it was a great privilege. And then, of course, I was appointed to the school board through the application process upon the retirement of Mr. Reggie Bowerman. And so it's been quite a journey. Yes.
So you were appointed. What has inspired you to run for election this year for that same seat?
That's a fair question. First, what would, prompt somebody to join the school board, initially, just having a connection with the community. Certainly, my wife, being an educator. And I should also mention, we have two kids in school, both the high school and middle level now. But having the capacity to serve and being able to contribute back to the community were those things that led to that. Under the current pandemic conditions, what would prompt one to
do anything?
To do anything. There's some great work happening, and I think there's great work to be done.
Great. Well, thank you. Next question. Kind of a tough one. The Shakopee Public Schools has no voter-approved operating levy, putting us at about $1,250 per student below the metro average. The last time our local voters approved an operating levy increase was more than a decade ago. The proposed levy on the 2020 ballot phases money in over 4 years, and even when it is all realized, we're still going to be behind the metro average as it is today. So my question is Shakopee spending enough per student, and what is your recommended per student allowance?
That's a fantastic question, and there's a lot of pieces in there just to unpack that. So it's to be clear, the district has not had an operating levy in over a decade. Community members would say, but my taxes have gone up. That has more to do with building bonds. We kind of use that alliteration. Bonds are for building. Levies are for learning. I like how my colleague—
I'll never forget that now.
Yes. My colleague, Matt McKee, he had mentioned, hey, we've done a great job on the outside of our schools. Let's put some energy and effort on the inside. And so hence the operating levy that is on the ballot in November. The phased-in approach seemed like the most prudent and economical way to do that for a couple of reasons. One, we have some building bonds that are rolling off. So it has some neutralizing effect of a tax increase, and so that seemed equitable. And under the current economic status having to do with COVID, it would certainly behoove the district to look at more than, call it, the $1,000 per student at the end of that 4-year rolling levy. Albeit it didn't seem prudent to ask for that level of funding at this time. There are some financial projections, and there's I would encourage anyone interested to go out to the Levy 2020 page on the Shakopee School website and garner some more information if they're interested. It seems sufficient based on our projection, at least as far out as 4 years. And the rest will have to manifest itself through state funding, in part maybe some federal funding, as well as growth in the community.
Okay, great. So what is your opinion on how the school district has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, and I look at what Shakopee Schools did last spring, converting to an all distance learning scenario on the fly. I look at the compassion that was shown, creating food service, partnering with our YMCA friends to create a safe environment for our essential workers. Much of this happening before any of the funding, was vetted. So the compassion and the dedication to ensure the safety of our students, second to none. And then, of course, looking at this fall, being able to create a Shakopee online for parents, students, and in a lot of cases, staff who are uncomfortable being in the classroom experience. Incredible work that has gone into that, as well as the hybrid model, transportation, food service, all of those things that you take into consideration. I think it's exemplary work.
Great. Next question, Mr. Brophy. What has the existing school board done well, and where is there opportunity for improvement?
Prior to having joined the school board, I know there was this community survey that was put together to get a pulse for how the community is feeling in terms of the quality of education, how are they feeling in terms of district leadership, and how do we need to course correct if there's any of that. In addition, setting up coffee connects and creating community engagement committees. Unfortunately, with COVID, that's kind of put some of those things on hold. But I think they've done an amazing job to be available and create an engagement opportunity for the community. Certainly, there's opportunity to further that, as well as to advocate for the incredible work that's happening throughout our district.
Great. So let's take the last 30, 45 seconds, look in the camera, and tell everybody why they should reelect you in November.
Very good. Well, first, it's been an honor and privilege to serve on the school board thus far. There is some great work that we've been able to start, myself personally, and there's certainly great work to be done. I would ask for your support in November to continue on the school board to further that effort. And I'm going to steal a line from Dr. Redmond. It's a great day to be a Sabre.
Well done. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Meet the Candidates 2020. Thank you for watching Meet the Candidates 2020, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. Please visit our website at shakopee.org for all of the information you'll need to know leading up to the November 3rd election.